If you're new, welcome also. Today's vlog is going to be something a little different, something close to my heart. I have two boys with autism, and if this vlog can help with just one person figuring out what they need to do, my job is done. So this one is going to be signs and symptoms that my kids experienced with autism, and the ways we help them, because a lot of the time it feels like you're just thrown into this and there's nowhere for you to go, no advice. I know a lot of my friends just didn't get it, and that's okay, but there is a lot of help out there and a lot of things you can do which can actually help make both yours and your kids' lives easier. So here we go. So the first thing that we noticed with my oldest was he would play inappropriately with toys. For example, things like he would have a train, but instead of playing with it, doing choo-choo as you go along on the ground, he would turn it upside down and spin the wheels. One of the other things too is when, as you can see in this clip, he also would play in the bath. He would have a whole bunch of toys in there, but he chose to play with the jug that we used to wash his hair. He wasn't interested in the toys. And while that on its own, it's not a big deal, when you put all of these signs and symptoms together, it's kind of a big deal at that point. Also, we noticed that he had a lot of sensory issues. He would cover his ears. The second thing also we noticed from a very early on, that he had no eye contact, not with us or anybody else really. That's one of the classic signs of autism. Things like going into a public restroom were awful because he couldn't tolerate the hand dryers, or even the toilets flushing would freak him out. Then as he got a little bit older, we did notice that he would not play appropriately with other kids around the age where they're supposed to enjoy playing together. At best, he would do parallel play, but he wouldn't even acknowledge the other kids a lot of the time. Another classic sign which my oldest did was, well, actually they both did, was stimming. They call it stimming, and that's where they hand flap, tippy toe walk. Sensory things feel pleasurable, and excitement. If he was excited, he would flap his hands. So the tips that I have for helping your children are going to be use tools that you can find that aren't extortionate. There's a lot of autism targeted things, but you really don't need them to help your child. So it would be things like screen time. That was instrumental with my kids learning to speak. A lot of the time I couldn't get their attention to be able to teach them. However, if they watched something like Baby Einstein, a lot of that would be echolalia, which is where they're just repeating things. There's no context to it. We also used sensory play a lot. So if there's something that your kid especially loves, mine were more on the hyperactive end. So they loved anything that would be crashing and banging and jumping and spinning. That was the other thing that they loved to do. So we bought a trampoline so that they could jump. There was also toys that they could sit on. I think it was called a sit and spin, and we could spin them on that. From a early standpoint, we had early intervention come in and help us, and one of the tips that they recommended for us was to put their toys into clear totes and put them just out of reach. This will mean that they will have to point. One of the things that my kids were delayed with was communicating and pointing. That's a very early thing that they should be doing, and my kids never pointed, even through to like 3 years old. But if you put their toys up and encourage them, and that can help with getting that early communication started. We also encourage independence. There's different things you can do with that. For example, if they're not able to feed themselves easily, you can buy plates that have suction cups. And as you can see in this clip, there's cups that also have, they have to drink like a normal cup, but it has holes around the edge, which means that they can drink like a normal cup, but it doesn't actually make a mess over them or anywhere else. So just grab moments when you can. I know a lot of the time they're very distracted. And it can make it hard to get their attention to learn, but don't sweat that. Just keep trying, and if you have a moment to encourage it when their attention span is small anyway, because they're small, that's normal. So even if they're tipping upside down on the couch, they're paying attention. They really are. They're a lot smarter than we give them credit for. And then also, one of the things we did for both of ours was we taught them to communicate in other ways. So one of the ways we taught our kids was baby sign.
Yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy. You do. Yummy, yummy. Yeah.
And finally, just don't give up. Even if they tell you that your kid is not going to be able to talk or do the things that you had planned, that's okay, but keep trying, because I did that with mine. And I'm not saying that every kid is going to be the same. There's a saying with autism that says, once you've met one kid with autism, you've met one kid with autism. It's different for everybody, but equally they need you to be strong for them. And it's okay to grieve the child that you thought that you might have, but celebrate the one that you do, because they're just as cool. They're cool kids. That is the end of this vlog. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.